Hey guys, welcome to freedomacademyhq.com. My name is Stéphane Gonville and I make videos on trying to help people overcome their shyness and their social anxiety. So today, quick video on what I think the #1 best way to overcome social anxiety is. So there's a lot of different methods out there. You know, you get cognitive behavioral therapy, you get medication, you get EFT, emotional freedom technique, you get exposure techniques, you have mindfulness techniques. Like, what is the best thing that you could do for yourself, you know? Well, I would advocate that the best method to overcome social anxiety is actually exposure, you know? And, you know, I don't know how you feel about exposure. I know that recently I've heard a lot of stuff, well, not recently, it's been for years now, about people saying that exposure doesn't work and that, you know, exposure is not for everybody and stuff. And I'm thinking, you either aren't doing it the right way or something's up, because exposure is actually the only way that you can overcome your social anxiety. And before you click back on this video because you don't want to hear this, can just let me explain a little bit, because it doesn't mean that, you know, you'll have to do some crazy social situation, you'll have to face all your fears and stuff like that. You can start really slow, but I see this in a lot of people where you know, they have social anxiety and they're trying to find a cure, and you know, they don't know what to do, and then they fall on exposure techniques, and they're like, no, I don't want to do that, that's too much, you know, that's too anxiety producing, I'm not at that stage yet. And you know, there's a certain amount of I'd say truth to that. For some people, maybe exposure, it's not what you should be doing right now, but I know a lot of people that block exposure for years, and then their problem never fixes, and their anxiety keeps going up and up, you know. But at some point, some type of exposure will need to be done if you want to overcome this problem, you know. And because, you know, take any phobia, okay? Because social anxiety, you know, you can call it social phobia. Take any phobia. Fear of snakes, fear of spiders, fear of heights, fear of planes, take anything, okay? And their #1 method, like if you go on a website where their main thing is to get over a fear of snakes, their main method is going to be exposure. They're going to make the person hold the snake, they're going to make people look at pictures of the snakes, they're going to make people look at videos of the snakes, they're going to bring them to an aquarium to look at the snakes, and it's gradual, you know. But social anxiety is the only phobia that I've seen that people think that they can overcome it by doing something like tapping techniques or taking medication or relaxation, teas, you know, because a lot of people think that social anxiety is physical in nature. It's like, oh, it's a problem with my brain, it's a problem with my thyroid, you know. But the truth of the matter, which is what I think, is that social anxiety is not a problem with your physical body, it's a problem with your environment. It's the behaviors, it's the way that you live your life, you know, it's the things that you do on your day-to-day. So I really think that you should be looking at exposure if you want to fix this problem and if you want to reduce your anxiety. That's what I did, and believe me, I, like most people, didn't want to have to face my fears, you know. I tried to not face my fears for years, you know. I tried cognitive behavioral therapy just by doing reframing techniques. I tried medication. I was prescribed medication. I read a bunch of books before I did anything socially scary, but you know what? During all that time, my social anxiety kept going up, and it's not until I started facing my fears that all of this kind of disappeared, you know. And it can do the same for you, and it doesn't need to be, you don't need to do some crazy social exercises. You can start really slow, and you know, I have a book that my book that I wrote, it's 200 pages basically on how to do proper exposure, you know. I even have like a little boot camp in there that starts you from if you're housebound, you know, it's meant to be for people that are, you know, like that were as bad as me, where I was housebound for a year, didn't know how to fix this, and I started gradually facing my fears, and now look at this. I mean, I'm able to do a video on the internet. I make a bunch of videos. I'm not really nervous right now. I mean, I have friends. I have a girlfriend that I've been with for 2 years. She's the woman of my dreams. You know, I have a job where I meet about 100 clients per day. I mean, I'm able to be myself around people now, and it's all because I owe it all to exposure. And I know a lot of you don't want to hear this because, you know, exposure is the one thing that people don't want to do, you know. And, you know, if you're like me, just try and see this. Do you, in deep down inside of yourself, do you realize that it's exposure, but you just try to kind of block it off, like, oh no, I don't want to do that. But deep down you're like, I know that's what I have to do. You know, I was like that, and you might feel like that also. So I'm gonna get into exposure techniques in following videos, but that's what I think is the best thing that you could do for your social anxiety, is to start facing fears. It's just like any phobias, the mechanics are the same of the fear, you know. You just have to, instead of trying to run away, you have to start looking at it. So guys, if you like these videos, make sure to subscribe. I have a lot more on the way. If you want my personal help, try to leave me a comment below, and I might do a video response to you. So guys, see you in the next video. Have a good week.